Santa and the Lost Presents Part 2. A Tale for Christmas by Richard Batchelor. All of the elves ran down the hill, chasing after Santa Claus's sleigh. Presents had got stuck in the snow on the way down. A few elves stopped to pick up little presents and took them back to the sleigh. Some of the presents were stuck so deep in the thick snow, it took 2 elves just to pull them out. Back and forth, up and down the hill the elves went, gathering all the presents. Some had even got stuck in a tree, so the elves helped each other climb the tree and carefully pass the presents down. The elves had gathered up a lot of presents, but a lot still remained. Luckily there were small presents, so more than one could be carried at a time. One of the elves looked towards the river in horror. "One of the presents has fallen in the river," he cried. He dashed over towards it. It was too light to sink in the river, but it was floating away. He reached out an arm. The tips of his fingers just managed to grab a hold of the present, but he lost his balance and fell in. The poor elf would either drown or freeze. "Help, I can't swim," cried the elf. He flapped his little arms frantically as the elves rushed over to help him. He started to sink into the water, but then a little elf hand grabbed his and pulled him back to the shore. The elf lay on his side. "You saved my life," said the elf, shivering. "I'm glad you're okay," replied the elf that saved him, and then helped the cold, shivering elf to his feet and helped him back up the hill. There were hardly any presents left now, except for the big presents, which needed more than one elf to carry. Before long, they were on the last present, the biggest of them all, that had gotten stuck so deep in the snow. Several elves gathered around the side of the present. "Everybody lift on 3, said one of the elves. 1, 2, 3, counted another. All the elves lifted the giant present with one mighty lift and carried it up the hill. Finally, all the elves assembled in the middle of the town, where Santa Claus's sleigh had stopped and gotten stuck in the snow too. They all pushed as hard as they could, and the sleigh began to slowly move back up the hill. They made it over the little bump in the snow and could see Santa Claus waiting with all his reindeer. He was standing by the stables with a stern look on his face. "What on earth happened?" asked Santa Claus. The elves all looked upset before one spoke up. "The storm blew the sleigh and presents down the hill. We just wanted to gather them all up again," said the elf. Santa Claus's stern face turned to a smile. "I'm just glad you're all okay," he said. All the elves began to smile back at him and loaded the presents into the sleigh. "Thank you all for your hard work, my elves. All the presents are here and accounted for. It's time to deliver Christmas to the world," said Santa Claus excitedly. All the elves cheered, and as the storm was over, Santa Claus's Christmas journey was just about to begin.